But look, we're about halfway through the year for the NBA. Most of these teams, if not all of them, have played 40 to 41 games. So that means it's time for our midseason review and analysis. Who really has stood out, maybe as far as a disappointing team or players that have really risen to the occasion like we haven't expected. And then, of course, we're going to get into our MVP picks at the end of this. And Shari, I want to know for you, what team or what player has really stood out to you? Or maybe it's something different. Maybe it's the officiating, because we can always talk about horrible
Don't do that.
refereeing.
I don't even want to risk
and I will again.
Don't even do that. It is questionable to say the absolute least. But interestingly enough for me, like I didn't expect to see the Timberwolves sitting where they are, or the Thunder, to be honest. I'm very, very impressed more than anything else to see how they've performed and where they're sitting right now. And I mentioned on the show just a few weeks back with you all, when the Lakers won the in-season tournament, they acted like they had won the championship, that, I was hopeful about their future, and now they're sitting well below even a play-in spot right now. So I'm actually disappointed in how they didn't necessarily take that momentum into where they are currently. Again, it also speaks to the inconsistencies that I think exist with Anthony Davis. I've had a problem with him for quite some time. This week he's done well. I mean, the win that they had was impressive nonetheless, but I think we have to be realistic about LeBron James as well. He's going to dominate, but he's getting older. So who else is going to step up and be consistent? So they're extremely disappointing to me. And then I like how Jokic is holding the Nuggets down. Like, excited for Murray to come back, but I'm really excited to see when they're at full strength what they can be and how well he's been holding them down so far. So that's my analysis.
Yeah, if I can I'll slide in here really quick then, Chris. I don't think it's a shocker to anybody that my biggest disappointment would obviously be my hometown team. We just got our fourth win against the Wizards this week. What in the world is going on? But I think bigger than that is the disappointment with Monty Williams. Like, I think there was this notion that I had in my head about him coming into the season, that this guy was a coach who could really develop young talent, who could really take a team to the next level. And now I've been believing that, maybe he's been that kind of coach that had so many dominant players that it has masked his ability for us to really see that maybe he doesn't have that developmental skill that you need for a coach that has a young team. So I've been really disappointed with that. But I'm actually quite impressed with the Houston Rockets. We haven't really talked about them much, but they're a team that really picked up where Boston put it down, right? Ime Udoka came in, took over the team, added some vets to his young core, really got them in a prime position right now to lock in a play-in spot and could potentially move up in the standings there. Got them playing defense, which is something we didn't really see out of Houston previously. So I'm really impressed with what I've seen out of the Houston Rockets. And I think I am happily shocked and surprised by the Rookie of the Year race. I think, everyone knew that Victor Wembanyama was going to be sitting right there in prime for this Rookie of the Year conversation, but you can add in Derek Lively, you can add in Chet Holmgren, who, speaking to your point about the Thunder, he's one of the key reasons that they're playing so well. So this isn't just it's going to be Victor's award and that's it. Like, there's actual competition for that Rookie of the Year race, and I think that's really exciting.
Yeah.
No, it is, because like you said, everybody thought it was going to be, or most people thought it was going to be, Victor's to lose. And then Chet Holmgren said, look, I had that year off, right? But I was training my ass off, and I'm here. And we coming. Like, I'm much better, right, than Wemby Spurs. For me, I got a few takeaways. One, the officiating has been terrible. I'm not going to get fined because I do not play in the NBA or coach in the NBA. Just them wanting to be the main stars, like just making ridiculous calls, whether it's texts or ejections that are overreactions to the players. It really bothers me, because the game is supposed to be about emotions and, excitement and being all up in somebody's face, the passion. You got Mike Brown out here giving PowerPoints, like, after the game.
My man had a whole film session in the press conference.
Yeah, he said, "Here's why. See, I can deal with missed calls, but the consistency, that gave us a whole bunch of meme material. Darko for the Raptors is going on. He's like, if the Lakers were supposed to win, just tell me why would we show up? Like after the Raptors
Yeah.
lost to the Lakers in a controversial game. So the officiating has been really disappointing. I'm also really down on the Warriors and how dysfunctional they have been. I did not expect them to come out this season the way they have, whether it's Klay Thompson being passive aggressive in his press conferences, you know, Steph Curry trying to hold the team all together because Draymond Green does not know how to keep his hands to himself. Andrew Wiggins sometimes looks disinterested with the game. Steve Kerr seems to be in over his head and holding on to too much loyalty with his veteran guys instead of playing the young guys. And then you think about, you know, Jordan Poole. Of course, he's not going to solve all their problems, but you look at what they did to him, Draymond specifically, and now it's like, yeah, you might have been okay to keep him, right? It might have been wise to keep him for what he adds to the team. So that's been disappointing. I will say, though, I'm really impressed with the Magic. I don't want to make it all negative. The Magic and what they've done, Jamal Mosley, that head coach over there, Paolo Banchero, you know what I'm saying, Cole Anthony, they've just got a really good young core that has figured out how to play really good defensive ball and be extremely unselfish. Right now, they're 8th in the East as of this taping. So I got to shout out the Magic because we have not seen them be relevant for some time, and now we're kind of getting into that as well. And now Shari, you want to talk about the Warriors, though?
Deep sigh. I was talking about this with one of my close friends, it literally like today. And I think that we have to come to the understanding that all dynasties do come to an end. Like it's a natural order. And I to your point, Chris, I do think, and Steve Kerr has to do what he has to do. He's a coach. But I think the narrative of them being that team, I think we all need to recalibrate our thinking around the Warriors. They really do need to rebuild. Draymond Green was not rehabilitated, I'm sorry to tell anybody, in 3 weeks. I just don't believe it. He wasn't impressive to me even before this happened, but I don't think he's the piece that's needed. Like when he goes and comes back, oh, Draymond's going to save the day. No, he's not. There needs to be a overhaul in a lot of different ways. And to your point, Chris, about that loyalty, that's a problem. And I don't really know, because of Steve Kerr's background, even as a player, if he's conceptualizing that enough to make the necessary adjustment. So they are definitely a disappointment. Klay Thompson's probably my biggest disappointment because I was hoping after last season that he would just continue to move forward, continue to get himself together and get his sense of confidence. The fact that we're talking about him not being confident on the court, I never thought that we'd be having this conversation. Inconsistent, so that's the disappointment for me. And again, Steph is going to be Steph. Like, and there's only so much he can do. And so I think we have to understand that as well. Even with leaders, I think we put so much on leaders and not understand, like, they have to have the pieces around them. Right now, he doesn't have the pieces. So I'm hoping that they make some changes, but also I don't know if they will. And at least if they do, I definitely don't think it's going to happen within this season here. So I cry for them. I'm sad for them. And Draymond still gets on my nerves.
Well, y'all know I love Draymond, so I'm not even. Oh, y'all see what I'm wearing today? What we not gonna do?
I don't care. Get this man out of here.
We're not gonna slam.
I don't care. You can wear the hat, the socks, and the gym shoes too. I'm from Chicago. We call them gym shoes. I don't care. Get him out of here.
Yes, we also say gym shoes in Detroit, and we're not gonna slander. No Spartans on this show today. But I will say, I do believe it is quite interesting that Draymond Green makes his debut back in the NBA on MLK Day. This man was about nonviolence and peaceful, and the man who had the most
and brought him back in Memphis. I'm going home. I'm done. Cut my camera off.
In Memphis.
I was just getting ready to say, and you did.
Cut my camera off.
In Memphis. I just didn't know if anybody else caught the significance of that. I thought that was very interesting. The irony is just through the roof, NBA. And this is what you do. Like, if I could just, if we're talking about surprises, like, NBA ethics is probably the most surprising and yet unsurprising thing this entire season because of everything that we've seen between the situation with Draymond, where it's an indefinite suspension, which definitely ended within 12 games. Between the situations with Josh Giddey, between the situations with Miles Bridges, like there's just, my goodness, like, is there a real ethics committee? Like, what in the, like, this is the thing that I just don't understand. We as my girl Shari is celebrating her Founders Day this week, we are all in Greek organizations, so we all got committees, different committees that do different things. You know what I mean? And everybody got to put in your work where you sit on your committee in your chapter. And I'm just wondering, who is the parliamentarian for the NBA? Who is not following the bylaws correctly? And how do we get on the bylaws committee to make some recommendations? Because this is crazy, the way that this league continues to operate in this way. So I think the biggest and most disappointing is that the NBA still hasn't quite figured out how to balance, yes, respecting the Players Association and the rights and the activism that's going to come on their behalf for their players, but also understanding this is our brand and our shield on the line. There's just certain things that we're going to take and that we're not going to take. And I just don't feel like they have figured it out in over 75 years.
They don't care to figure it out. They don't care to figure it out. You know why? Because people like us will still watch, right? We touched on it before in previous episodes. We're still going to watch, you know, even though they have problematic tendencies. And speaking about bylaws, they need to change them bylaws because currently right now, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, they need some real adjustments over there for sure. And that ethics committee, I don't even know if they exist, to be honest.
Who is the chair? Who is the chair? I call
somebody go on Google right now. Let's go down to the Google and find this person. And then go in there.
It's going to take a while.
Just light it up.